Today on Bridges, we're going to take a look at a Soldier's Child Foundation. Before we open up that conversation, I want to give you an opportunity to look at a video that tells their story.
Hello, my name is Daryl Mackin, and I am the founder and executive director of a Soldier's Child Foundation, serving the children of our fallen American defenders of our country's freedom. A Soldier's Child Foundation began in 2008 after my neighbors lost their son, Marine Staff Sergeant Marcus Golzinski, to sniper fire on March 27, 2007 in Fallujah, Iraq. The now iconic wartime photo of Mark's son, 8-year-old Christian at that time, stepping up to receive his father's flag at his funeral, was one of the contributing factors that led to the birth of a Soldier's Child Foundation. It was quickly realized by me and many others that this boy, and so many other children like him, will never be able to receive everything we as parents give to our own children. No more birthdays celebrated by his father, no more camping excursions, no more hunting or fishing trips, and who would mentor these kids through the difficulties of adolescence? Who would help them with college, getting there debt-free as they deserve? What began as a way to answer the questions that many Gold Star families ask, did it matter and does anyone even care, has now turned into a nonprofit organization nationwide serving over 3,000 children. A Soldier's Child celebrates our ASC recipients' children's birthdays every year up to age 18. We offer numerous mentorship camps throughout the year. Everything from summer camps, hunting, fishing, dance, theater, photography, culinary arts, leadership, songwriting, and many more. We also help facilitate getting these kids to college debt-free through our partners at the Folded Flag Foundation. Partnering with the Soldier's Child Foundation gives the average American citizen the opportunity to love the child, honor the fallen, and give hope for the children to live a courageous life. Not only are we caring for the children of our fallen, we are also becoming a household name through our CCAP program, Compassionate Corporate America Partners, to where the average American citizen can give back to our military widows and orphans, showing them in tangible ways that we do care and it did matter. Help us help them. They deserve it.
That was a look of the foundation called A Soldier's Child. And joining me today is the founder and director, Daryl Mackin. Daryl, so good to have you on the program today.
Thank you, Monica. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, you know, people have just looked at that video. Tell me really what got all of this started on your heart to start the Soldier's Child Foundation.
Yes, so that iconic wartime photo, the cover of my book,
yes.
Christian Golzinski, at the time 9 years old, receiving his father's flag at his funeral. Well, his grandparents were my neighbors. So where I say that we want to answer the questions that we feel the families are asking, did it matter? Does anybody even care? That was actually asked to me by Christian's grandfather, and in anger. He actually turned around and walked into his house and left me standing in his garage.
And when he asked those questions in anger, that was over the loss of his son and just wondering, hey, does anybody care that my son died in serving this country? Yeah,
you know what it was is that so this was 3 months removed from Mark passing, being killed. And I would go over to his house often and we would talk. He would tell me stories about Mark. I didn't know Mark. And so we had done that a number of times. So on this particular night, he was just tired of it.
Yeah.
And the anger came in. And when he walked back into his house, I lived across the street, but it took me 45 minutes to get home. And I realized two things. One, I'm a veteran and I consider myself a patriot, but I realized I never once thought of the families left behind, specifically the children. And my next thought was my own death, that I would leave my children early and they would be in the situation that Christian and so many thousands of other children are in that situation. And really, I think that was the birth of a Soldier's Child. I felt like God had put a deposit into my heart to stand in the gap and do something.
Yeah, and you are.
Yeah.
And that do something is growing and growing because people are seeing the need and understanding. Because I think even as I hear you describe that experience with your neighbor, I think You know, when we hear about a fallen soldier, of course we feel sad.
Yes.
And of course we feel gratefulness and thankfulness for everybody who serves.
Yes, ma'am.
But do we really think about their families and their kids and what that would be like to forever have a parent absent because their mom or because their father died serving our country? And like, what can we do about that?
Right.
And those thoughts started burning in your heart.
Right. That's a really good point because, you know, if I say Habitat for Humanity, you know who they are, what they do, how to get involved. Make-A-Wish Foundation. What is there in our country that actually cares for the children of our fallen? Those that sign a contract that say they're willing to defend the freedoms that 99% of our nation, the people of our nation, do not defend their freedoms. 1% sign that contract. And when they don't come home, their children suffer for it. So, but here's the deal. This is what I found, is that once you tell people, everybody says the same thing. Yes, I can get behind this. Everybody says that. And that's why we have grown, because we have filled a void that most people want to be a part of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when I hear about it, I get excited. And what you've done with A Soldier's Child is you've done practical things that businesses can get together, churches, and can do something practically. For example, the birthdays.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing. It's back to Habitat for Humanity. We say it's Habitat for Humanity on steroids because it's true, because you don't have to go to a build. We actually come to you. We travel all over the country, California, New York, Chicago, Texas, Florida, every month, sometimes twice, putting on these big shopping, wrapping, packing, shipping, birthday parties. And it's just, it's amazing. We have 4 staff. But it takes a small army every month. We're doing over 200 birthdays every month and spending $30,000 on about 1,500 gifts, specifically to a child's wish list. Imagine, you know how hard it is just to shop for for one kid for their birthday. You know, 200 in about a 4-hour period, and it's just amazing. It's people say 2 things every time we do one of those big events. CCAP is what we call it, Compassionate Corporate America Partners. And we do it, again, like you said, with churches, community, civics groups, everyone. They say this, man, it was harder than I thought it was. But then they say, this is the best thing I've ever done.
And I can see why that would be. And these birthday parties are for the children of fallen soldiers.
Yes. So I was in the Navy. I wanted to call it a Squid's Kid, but no one would.
No one would go for that, Daryl.
No. My brother-in-law, who had helped me from the very beginning, it's in the book, said to me, dude, we can't call it Squid's Kid. I was like, come on, man.
No.
So we went with A Soldier's Child because most people, when you say soldier, they think military. So in fact, we cover all branches of military service, Marines, Airmen, Navy, Coast Guard, National Guard, all of them.
Yeah. And so you have this child's wish list of what they want for their birthday.
Yes.
And you shop for them, and then civic groups, churches, businesses get together and do the wrapping. So it's like everybody gets to be a part of celebrating this child's birthday, so this child doesn't feel forgotten by the country and by having a parent that passed serving our country.
We're answering those questions.
Yeah.
Did it matter? Does anybody care? And what's so cool for the volunteer, the person that's shopping, wrapping, you get to write a message to the child on the box. Because, you know, they'll get it at the very beginning of the month. So we shop, let's say June, we're shopping in June. Well, that's for all of July's birthdays. And they'll get it like a few weeks before their birthday, especially that July 30th child.
Gets it way early.
A month.
That's so nice.
And all they get to do is stare at all the sweet messages that you write on the sides of the boxes. And also we have our famous no peeking, you know, do not open until July 30th, your birthday. And we hear from the parents that some of the kids sneak into the boxes and stuff.
Sure.
But it's just, you know, we get so many emails and letters and stuff from the kids and moms, and a lot of them really feel it's daddy's angels. You know, and it's incredible. All the other gifts they get matter, but not like this box, not like the box.
Well, you know, in trying to put myself in a child's shoes that lost a dad or lost a mom in service to the country, you know, and then someone like that you don't really know
Right.
gives you a birthday party in honor of that soldier. I can't imagine what that means to these children who, it's bad enough to go through grief as an adult.
Yeah.
But as a child, the questions, the
Right.
hurt, the memories that didn't get to happen.
Correct. Yeah. Again, you know, I'm going to repeat it. We're answering those questions.
Yeah.
Because the kids have it as well. Even though Henry is the one adult, 50, over in his 50s,
That's right.
said it to me. Didn't matter, does anybody care?
Right.
All of the family. So when the aunts and uncles attend that party, when the box arrives, they read the letter so we give them a scroll sealed with a crown that says legacy of royalty. We give them a dog tag, and it's a purple dog tag. On one side, it has this shell attached to it. It's a Spiny Murex dye shell. And at once, it was harvested for its dye for royalty and nobility back in the Roman Greek emperor days. And we tell them that it's as rare as that dye was. It was more expensive ounce to ounce than gold.
Wow.
And on the flip side, it quotes John 15:13, for there is no greater love than a man lay down his life for his friends. And we say to them, you have inherited this legacy of royalty for your parents' sacrifice for country and friends. And it's impact.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes a child's heart. It changes the way they think. And when they come to our camps, that's literally the foot in the door, those boxes.
Because that's just kind of the start, is
That's
the
the
birthday
start,
party.
yeah.
Because you all do, it's grown. I mean, so many
Yes,
people
ma'am.
want to be a part of this.
Yes.
You're doing other things like camps and hunting expeditions.
Yes, it's amazing. So, in fact, I got a video for you to watch, but we're doing 15 camps a year, everything from culinary arts to commercial baking to dance, theater, horseback riding. We have week-long summer camp, three-day camps of hunting turkey and dove and quail and white-tailed deer. It's off the chart. And the best part of it is that we're bringing the kids together. They get to share like experiences, and they learn how to overcome this tragic experience in their life of losing a military mom or dad.
Yeah, in such a way that they're building skills, making a friend, and just learning how to deal with that. Well, I want to let everybody take a look at that video. So we want you to stay with us. Here's a look at the video of this hunting expedition, and we'll be back right after that.
On a cold January day in Nolensville, Tennessee, 10 children who have lost a military parent have gathered with the Soldier's Child Foundation for a hunting excursion. With their hunting guides and dogs, they are hunting the elusive quail. It is a time for these kids to come together to experience a day of adventure, relationship building, and find a sense of healing for their hurting hearts.
My dad's name was Keith Coe.
Stephen Benjamin Ayala.
Levi Johnson.
Nathan Charles Pollard.
Mark Rogers.
James Richard Schock II. I was about 1 year, 18 months, something like that.
12.
5.
I was 3 years old.
He got shot in the head.
A seizure of unknown origin.
He committed suicide.
Gunshot.
A bomb.
Our country has many criteria for what qualifies children as at risk. The children of our fallen American defenders of freedom are often overlooked as they face anger and abandonment issues, resentment, and many other emotions, all while growing up in a single-parent home.
Well, I think it's very important to do it because it's a healing for a lot of young people. It's an opportunity for kids to get together that have the same sort of home life situations, their parents being in the service or may have lost someone in the service, and it's just a great opportunity for them to get together. You know, they need to know that they're not alone out here in the world and that there's other people that are going through some of the same things they do, and a lot of things that they do to find out that things are okay, to move forward in that.
The love, honor, and hope that these children need is now accessible through a Soldier's Child Foundation. ASC hosts numerous camps and events each year, bringing hundreds of Gold Star children together. Through respect and empathy, the children of our fallen know that they are not alone.
It hurts me so bad that I want to see him.
Well, every night I kind of just pray over him, hope that he's watching down on me. But I've had some rough times back and forth, but I think I've had a good life so far.
I don't get to do as much stuff. I feel lonely.
It's been difficult. I mean, it's been different than most people. Hard to grow up with other kids, make friends. Got bullied a lot in school.
They care about you, Danny. You're not alone, Danny. You're not, buddy. The pain you feel, the hurt that you have in your heart sometimes, all of us are here for one reason, buddy. We're always here for you. You're not alone through the hardships you have. Listen to me, buddy. You got to remember this. Come over here. This is the truth. This is the truth. That's why a soldier's child exists. It's the truth, bud. That's why we exist. All right. You did a good job, buddy. I know it's hard. But you know what? If you don't answer those questions sometimes and you don't feel the way you do right now, you never get to it. You never get to it. It always stays on the shelf. You don't deal with it. You're dealing with it. And in the end, you know that people love you and care about you. That's strength, man. That gives you hope. Am I right? Yeah.
Help ASC help them by making them number one on your list of giving. They deserve it. Together, we can show them that they do matter and we do care. For more information, visit asoldierschild.org and follow ASC on social media.
For more information on a guest, visit our website, ctntv.org.
Well, you can see as watching that video how important that hunting expedition and A Soldier's Child Foundation is to the hearts and the lives of children. And, you know, Daryl, when I watched that video for the first time and I saw those children respond to questions, I was overcome with emotion at a child processing the grief over the loss of their parent in service to our country.
I've watched it 10 times and you're just saying it. Can't help it. You know, I think there's a rawness there in that video that people see. And, you know, as hard as it was asking the questions and the kids answering the questions, people need to know. People need to know these are our kids. And up until now, you know, we've never done anything like this before as a nation. So I'm really proud of A Soldier's Child and all the people, so many people have given time, talent, and treasure into the foundation. But little Danny, when he had a hard time answering that question. And that is what we are doing. That hope, you know, when I say, you know, it gives you hope. What are we talking about? You know, I had talked to you about in the beginning, we would just throw it in on the wall. What's going to stick? And, you know, where are we going? We knew we were scoring points just by honoring these kids. And the closer we got to the bullseye, we realized what it was. And the bullseye for A Soldier's Child Foundation, they have lost their earthly father. The bullseye is to point them to the Heavenly Father. That is the greatest hope that any human being on earth could ever have. The hope of Christ. And that's it. And, You know, we don't do it by beating them over the head. We do it with love.
Right.
And we just keep pointing them to Jesus.
Well, and with fun and with good times. And
Yeah,
with
exactly.
with showing up.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
laugh a lot.
Yeah, showing up is important in a person's life.
Correct.
And to just point someone to the Heavenly Father, that is amazing and wonderful. And of course, we should do that. But you're also helping until we go to heaven, until we meet our Father, to stand in the gap for that parent, to celebrate those birthdays, to offer like this awesome hunting expedition and all the great things that you're talking about, to say, you know what, there are people right here on earth that love God so much, we're willing to stand here with you.
Yeah.
And help you grieve and process that loss and point you to the Father, because otherwise children and adults, even like your neighbor in the garage that day, we can get so mad and get so bitter because we feel deserted. We feel like no one cares. And I think that's one of the worst places to be in the world, and for a child to be in that place.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's what this is all about. Tell me about A Life Worth Celebrating, this book.
So some of it is my story, and so I was a mess for a long time. In the book, it talks about how my first father abandoned my mom with 8 kids when I was 8 months old, and then
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he had PTSD from the Korean War, and then my stepfather, same thing, when I was 12, and he had PTSD. It was just a mess. I was a mess. You know, I went wayward. I had no hope in my life. And when God saved me, I prayed 3 things when I became a believer. I asked God that I would have a godly wife. I do. And you interviewed her.
Yes,
a while
she's a
back.
wonderful
Johanna
woman.
Mackin.
Johanna, yes.
And then I asked that I would be a missionary, and I am.
You are.
To the children
You are.
of fallen
Yes, you
American
are.
defenders of freedom. I am a missionary. And I asked that my life would be about kids. And I was a high school teacher for almost 20 years. And I've done youth ministry and everything. And now, you know, the cherry on the top, God has blessed me that I get to do this work for these kids.
Yeah.
There's a connection, obviously. My wife said it to me one time. I came home and I told her what had happened at camp. And she's like, Daryl, don't you realize that as you are ministering to these kids, God is ministering to the child in you? I was like, whoa, sweetie, whoa. I was like, take it easy. Take it easy. That's a little heavy. Take it. And I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I believe
love
it too, you know, and that God used in your life. He took those 3 prayers that you prayed,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
He took those painful experiences of being abandoned by your father and by your stepdad, and under such tragic circumstances. When we trust God, when we yield those things to God, you know, the pain doesn't always immediately go away. There's that processing. We're human beings. We're in a physical body. There's all of that. But when we really yield to Him, He'll use it. And that's what He's doing. I mean, it's out of that compassion that you can talk to these children and you can understand how they may feel abandoned. They may feel deserted and left out. And like, it's not fair. You know, it's just not fair. And yet, you're meeting needs as you do that.
Yeah. Yes. I want to tell you about something. You know, if we do birthdays up to 18 years of age, and then obviously we do all of our camps up to 17, and then when we help the kids get to college. But then what do we do after that?
Right.
After 18. So this is the part where, because what you're talking about right now is we can show all the sympathy in the world to these children. We love you, we care about you, but we don't have the empathy. You know, even me, even my story. You know, I didn't lose them. They left, but I didn't lose them. They didn't die.
Right.
You know, whether it was KIA or a training accident, a heart attack, suicide, whatever it was, you know, I didn't lose them in that way. And so what we have done, we've built a program called PS23, and it stands for Psalms 23. Those 6 verses we use as a leadership model. So we have our PS23 mentors. And so, in fact, I'm leaving next week, and we're taking 20 of them on a Appalachian Trail hike, and we're going to do skiing and jet skiing, water skiing, tubing, lobster bake, going on ferry rides all through Maine and New Hampshire. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it sounds awesome.
And 3 weeks after that training, so it's training vacation slash, they come and they are the mentors to 125 ASC kids at our Journey Camp.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is, because now they come back. I mean, we put them through everything. We put them through suicide prevention, counseling, all this training for the kids. And they are the ones to do it because they have been through it, and now they have learned how to overcome, and they're giving it back to the kids.
And you've trained them on how to mentor and how to deal with this. And I think just so thankful that God birthed this in your heart, in your neighbor's garage. Just so thankful for that. And I know, Daryl, as people watch, they want to be involved. How can people be involved?
Well, I would say go to our website, carouse around, see everything we're doing. And that program, CCAP, that I talked about, I would ask, if you are in a business, if you know a corporation, a church group, CCAP is Compassionate Corporate America Partners. We have just unleashed our second CCAP, Compassionate Christians Achieving Purpose, where James 1:27 says, caring for the widows and orphans in their distress. We are doing that, and we're doing it for our American kids who've lost a mom or dad defending our freedom. So I would ask folks to, find out where you want to fit in. Our doors are open. That's part of our mission, is to allow the average American citizen to jump in and do this work.
Yeah. And you have possibilities unlimited for people to do that. We're out of time, but thank you for coming today.
Thank
it's
you
been
for having
so
me,
good.
Monica.
The name of the foundation, again, is A Soldier's Child Foundation. We will give you all of the information. We're out of time. We've got to say goodbye. God bless you.
You can purchase a copy of today's show for $15. Call us at 615-754-0039 or send a check to the address on the screen. Please mention the program number on the screen.
Prayer changes things. If you need prayer, write to the address on the screen. Call 615-754-0039 or email prayer@ctntv.org.
Don't give in. God's word says you're an overcomer. If you hadn't done blah, 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 this wouldn't have happened. And let me say this to you. If you think that you are in a mess of your own making, you are still an overcomer. When that temptation comes, you want to make sure that you are dressed for battle. Therefore, put on every piece of God's armor so you will be able to resist the enemy in the time of evil. It takes training. It takes discipline. And so when you're fighting that good fight of the faith, you take your story, whatever it is, and you saturate it in faith, and you fight for it.
Visit monicaschmelter.com to schedule Monica to speak at your next event.